What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video in our tag mixer series. I think this is like video 21, if I remember correctly. I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure it's video 21. Anyway, hey, it's been 99 days since I made a video, and that's because I had a lot of stuff happen, and I know a lot of people make excuses on YouTube for why we haven't done, they haven't done videos or whatever. I had a lot of railroad stuff going on, and then also I needed to set up a whole new recording studio because I was using a laptop before, and it was really difficult and a lot of internal stuff. But you know what? I got a new station set up, and I think I should be able to put videos out more regularly at this point. At least I hope so, But I realized 99 days? 99 days? I could not even believe that when I saw that. I said, oh my God, I got to do something about that. So I want to jump back in and keep working on the Tag Mixer series because I really want to submit this plugin. I think it's one a lot of people could use. So, and I have a lot of ideas for future videos too. Like I want to do a lot more stuff, obviously, with WooCommerce. And I wanted to still build that restaurant reservation website and much other stuff. Anyway, and hey, if you want to subscribe, just subscribe, will you? It's free, it costs nothing, and makes me smile. So that's great. So let me pull up a little nifty chart. Let me pull this down. And then let's open up this milestones. If you guys remember, I know it's been a long time. I mean, 99 days, so I don't blame anybody who's watching this who forgot about what we did in the last videos. I even had to reacclimate with my own stuff to figure out where I was. So, no problem if you can't remember. All right, so if you guys remember, we had this milestone chart. We had our packet, we deleting our packages, adding metadata, hooking after the content to see what our plugin does. All that we already did. And if you look back, I'll show you in a second that it is doing it. But today what we're going to do is we're going to focus right here, which is number 4, adding an option that lets the user select a shortcode or site-wide option. If you guys remember, I wanted to create a way for the user to decide whether they wanted to display their rules, their tag mixer rules, as a shortcode or as a site-wide option. That's very important. So we're going to go ahead and deal with that today. So let's open this back up and I'll show you. So we have it on, and as you guys probably remember, we created a simple package that had an ID for a headline or for some text and changed it to, I think, like 50 pixels or something like that. And here it is right here working actually on a test. We know it's working because this is not normally that big. If I open my Themify editor, I'm using Themify always, but if I open my Themify editor and I look, it would just be smaller than this. It has no styling, but right now it's obviously styled big because it's bigger than the H1. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a button right here that lets the user actually be underneath here. That the user is going to be able to determine if they want to add it site-wide or if they want to add it to the meaning it goes in the footer of every page, or if they want to add it as a shortcode, meaning they can choose which pages. Like this is for marketing, right? You can set different, you can set marketing on each page and whatever pages you want. So it's not like all over your site. You don't want it in your like terms and conditions or something like that, obviously. So let's go ahead and get into that. It's actually easier than you think because we've already done a lot of stuff in our previous videos to make this simple. And well, obviously we're going to be using Visual Studio Code. And this is the file layout of that tag mixer, and I am going to update it in the GitHub. It's been a while, but I will do it after this video. So we only have to do a few simple modifications, believe it or not, to make this happen. We have to start with adding another option to our form there that has another one of those slider checks, one of these. And then also give the user an output to see the shortcode so that they can paste it. And then we have to do a little bit of work on the actual page that contains the shortcode and the footer thing. We already created all that, by the way, in our previous video, so you can go back and check that out. So the place we're actually going to start here is, I don't know if we should go to the form first. We probably should. So we're going to start in the admin partials folder. This is all those pages and the settings. And what we're going to do is we're going to go into the genset page. Yeah, this is the one I want. Okay, and in here, we have everything handling our general settings page for this plugin, the one that has the little spinning green things, everything we just looked at. And if we scroll on down, let's see. So right here, we're getting the option for that, which is the tag master switch. This is what's telling us it's the option that we've set in our form. And that saves in the database when a user clicks this on or off and then saves to let us know what to do here, if it's on or if the plugin's off. Okay, well, we need to add another option. And since we've already done all this, it's going to be relatively easy. So if we scroll down, you're going to see that right here, this input is in fact that input. Well, we can easily make it do what we want by doing a little bit of just stealing and pushing it down and creating another one just like it. So let's create a couple of inline breaks here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually take this right here. Don't tell anybody. 5-finger discount. Taking it for free. And we're going to go ahead and change some very simple stuff about it. Let's do, man, I kind of want to do a label. I think we're going to go ahead and do a label. So instead, let's go ahead and do a label for this input. And let's make this input called tag. How about this? Tag mix short or all. A lot of times I name this stuff really advanced because in WordPress there's a lot of chances it can overlay and screw up other plugins if things are too closely named. And then also I always keep saying too, I generally camel case everything I do because I'm a Visual Basic programmer from a lot of my life, but I don't know why I haven't been doing that in these. Probably as we build, or as like I said, as I build more and more advanced plugins, I'll actually camel case most all of my variables and everything. But in this case, we're not going to. So let's just say I'm just going to do some inline styling so that people can have heart attacks about it. And I want to set the color as black, and I want to set the size to 20, I think. I think that sounds pretty good. I'm trying to think if that's... Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. So we're going to set our label, and then I want to wrap it in some strong tags. And by the way, I keep telling myself I'm going to use Emmet, and I never do. I don't want to class strong, actually. I'm trying to remember using Emmet for this. I always forget to use it, but all right. Anyway, I think I just have to press strong and tab, or type it and then type tab. Okay, so now in between here, I'm just going to say something like use a shortcode on selected pages, or use Sitewide. That's good, with a question mark. Okay. And then I think I want to break it another line, and I want to say if a shortcode is selected, let's see, yeah, if a shortcode is selected, here's your shortcode. Because we have to give the user the shortcode, and they actually don't know what it is right now. And there's no way for them to get it except for us telling them. So we're going to give them what the shortcode is, and then let's go ahead and do it like this. Now the thing is, in WordPress, if you have an issue, I don't know why mine is not necessarily having the issue, but if you have an issue where you output the actual shortcode right here and then actually tries to output the code, you can do this. And WordPress will just put it as 1. Okay? So now you're going to ask, where do we know the shortcode? How did we create it? Well, in a previous video, we already created the shortcode. It's actually in our includes and in the base tag class. Down below where we initialized all of our admin classes and all that stuff, right here, that's the public hooks. We went ahead and we created, as you'll see, a shortcode. Right. First, we added a action to add the code to the footer, and it could have been a filter as well. And then we added a filter to the content, and that was actually for something else. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to actually grab this shortcode here, and here's the shortcode. Here's what the actual shortcode is. It's calling to the public class, and that's the function it's calling to output its code. Okay, so what we need is this right here. This is actually our shortcode. So if we take this back and we put it here, we can do it just like this. And now the user knows what the shortcode is. So for them, it's not going to be a problem. Now they have the shortcode. Now let's go ahead and do another break after the label. And then now we have another input, and we called it tag. Let's actually change its name. Tag mix short or all. Okay, and it has main switch. It's using the same variable for the moment, so it's going to be checked, obviously, because the main one's checked. We just changed its name. Everything else is okay. We do not want it to say party time. We actually want to change it to say, I want it to be defaulted to shortcode so that it doesn't affect the user's whole site when the plugin gets activated. So we're going to say shortcode, because otherwise when the plugin starts, it's just going to be immediately site-wide active, and we don't want that. And then let's say site, and then let's do a break, and then say wide. Okay, perfect. So that's pretty close. It's not exactly perfect yet, but what we could do is we could actually go back and see what we got, which I'm curious. Let's take a look. Should just drop underneath, and it should have some text. It gives them a shortcode. Let's take a look. All right, perfect. So it says use a shortcode on selected pages or use site-wide. Shortcode is selected, here's your shortcode. And then they can copy this and go put it on the page. And then it should say shortcode or site-wide. And we want it to be shortcode by default first. That's perfect. But we do not actually have it saving right now because we didn't add this as a savable option. We have to go do that in another file. We do have it set up and ready to go right here, and then once we have it as a callable option, we'll be able to change this main switch so that it knows if it's on or off, and it'll be separate in the database. So we're going to copy this because that's the name. And now what we need to do is we need to go back to the administrative file, not any partial, just the admin itself file. Because down in here, there's going to be a section, let's see, line 127. See, look at this, register, tag mixer, general settings. This is the general settings for this plugin, or for that form. When this form gets submitted, this is where the general settings are set up in the database. So what we can do is we can just create a new line, and we can enter that new setting we just did. And we have to make sure it has the same form name, and then we can give it that new name we just created. So what we can do is put the new name of the field, and then that's the group inside the database it's being saved to. Okay, so now we've registered the setting, and now we've told it what the name is. And if we go back to the other one, to the gen set page, now we know that's the name of the input, so it should save. Well, now what we need to do is we need to get it as its own variable to determine if it's on or off, so it's not just with the main switch, because those are two separate variables. So we can head back up right here to line 80, where main switch is being called, and we can call this like short or site, and just hit get option. And then now we can grab that same option. It's really funny when I type on this keyboard. It's a newer keyboard I did just for this new station. It sounds like a cricket. Okay, so back down here, we have in that same field area, oh, I scrolled way too far, right here, that tag mix short or all. Now that's going to save whether it's on or off. And what we can do, did I scroll too far again? Yes, I did. Down here, we can put it right here. And now we have an option called short or site. That's going to contain that second saved field. So instead of checking for main switch on the second one, we're going to check for short or site. So now it's going to do the same check that's doing on the first one. Let's go ahead and take a look. Because technically, that is how, let's see, that should be it for those. And then we should be able to go set up our shortcode and everything. So let's go take a look. Okay, so let's go ahead and run another refresh here. You can do it. Oh, I can't do it. Okay. Let's see. On line 128. All right, you guys see the issue? You see it? It was obvious. It just said undefined function. You see it? I typed it in. Just one wrong character will do it to you. Register. Okay, so let's go ahead and just run a refresh, and it should work. Okay, so let's go ahead and go shortcode and save it, and it should save as a shortcode. Okay, so see, now we have it saving the same way we have the on and off switch saving. Okay, so this is all working. If we were to change it to site-wide and save it, it would now have that as on and that as off. So now we know they're being saved in the database properly. Yay, yay, yay. Now we can move on to the next thing. All right, so we don't need to do anything else in the admin class, and we don't need to do anything else in this class. Where we're actually going to head now is to our public class. Now that we have this all set up, we don't need to be in there anymore, so we can close the admin and the includes. And now we're going to open up the public and the public class. And I don't think we need to modify any of the partials at this point in the public. I don't even think there is any partials, is there? No. Okay, so tag mix short, you see this? This is just outputting hello world, and really it shouldn't echo. It should be a return because with classic editor, with Gutenberg it'll break. Okay, so now in the footer, as you can see, we're calling it in. We're actually setting the unique package. This is something we set to determine if I'll explain this in more depth later, but it's really cool. It's a way to basically activate or deactivate different tracking or different classes based on the unique key for the same advertising page. So we can change all the ads and everything for the same page. So that you can determine, like, if it's a different source, you can change and all that. You'll see. It's going to make so much sense in the end. It's going to blow your mind. But for the moment, this is what's doing it, and this is what's getting the package. And this code right here is what's accomplishing this. So what we need to do, and what is most simple, is we need to run a simple check. It'll be real easy. What we need to check is the user wanting to add it site-wide, or is the user wanting to just add it via shortcode, and then do based on that. Oh my god, my keyboard's so funny. It sounds like a cricket. It is so funny. So down here, what we're going to do is we're going to make it really simple by saying the following. Let's just give ourselves a nice note so we know. So we're going to say, let's do a global check for option set to shortcode. To shortcode. Now, here's the deal here, though. We don't want to do it here. So we say if user set to shortcode, do not add to the footer. Leave it out because we do not want it in here because the user doesn't want it in here. So what we're going to say is if, I know, magical. I'm trying to think about what I want to name it. If I want to name it like stir using short, or I'm thinking about camel casing kind of. Yeah. So let's call it that. In my mind, I was already like a couple steps ahead of myself. Stir using short, and we're going to do a get option. What we're going to do here is we're going to get the option from the database that the user set on that general settings form. And that's going to tell us if they selected get. Yeah, we're going to fix that in just a second. Because this if, it's saying this if is broken. No big deal. So back in the admin, I actually should have pulled it over on the genset page. It's this right here, remember? That's the field that's being saved in our database. So we need to take that now. That's the one that tells us if it's a shortcode or site-wide. We need to get that option right here. So now we need to say if, let's say stir using short is equal, remember it's double equal, to nothing. This is how it lets us know that the user is not using a shortcode and they want it site-wide. So that's letting us know that they want it site-wide. So let's go ahead and use it site-wide. And that's pretty much all you need for right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact opposite in the shortcode. Remember, tag mix shorty is the shortcode. This is where the shortcode looks to get its code from. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the exact opposite. Say global check for the option to set the shortcode. If the user set to shortcode, output as shortcode. I always say 10 minutes, but here we are at 17 or something like that. All right. And then we need to close it out. Perfect. Yes, yes, yes. Give us a little bit of space, man. Right here. Now it needs to say is not equal. Then we know they're using a shortcode. So guess what we can do? Oh, yes. How complicated that was. And grab the same code, at least for the moment, right? Okay, so now what's going to happen is we're going to do a little bit of testing. So if we refresh, everything should be copacetic at this point. We shouldn't have broken anything unless I'm an idiot, which is 90% of the time. Oh, look at that. Okay, so it's set to shortcode right now. So technically when we refresh, this should be smaller. Let's take a look. Aha, look at that. So now this is a test headline. It's smaller, right? That means that the code is no longer being outputted in the footer. Interesting. Whoa. I didn't even know there was text there. Okay, so back over in the tag mixer portion again, let's go in here and let's do site-wide. Let's save the changes. That should stay site-wide. It should be red. And that lets us know that we are smarter than we think and that everything's going correctly. Yes. And then over here, this should gain size again. Let's take a look. There it is. It is. Okay, so we know now that it's working. Okay, well, let's go ahead and run the shortcode test. So let's change it back to shortcode, save the changes. Now, once again, you're going to see it stay as shortcode. And then over here, come on, let's load. Let's get the show on the road. All right. Over here, now what we're going to see is it's going to change and be smaller. Perfect. All right, now what we're going to do is turn on our builder. This is for Themify, but if you don't have a builder, you would just paste the shortcode in. And remember, the shortcode has to be pasted in at the bottom below all the content so that the content you're trying to change has already loaded. Because if you don't, guess what? It's going to get activated before all of your other elements are constructed in the DOM, and it's not going to work. Okay? Remember, JavaScript, it has to be done after all the elements are loaded. I mean, you can put it on a timer or something, but that's completely up to you. Okay, edit. Now let's go ahead and grab this shortcode right here. And if all is correct for me, it'll say loading shortcode because that's what Themify does when it finds an active shortcode. There it is. Perfect. Done. Save. And once I close it, the shortcode will actually activate because it goes back to a live version of the site. Yes, yes, yes. Show me the money. Yes. Perfect. So that's being done on a shortcode. That's not being done on the site-wide. Okay, so it's not activating. That's activating on a shortcode. Let's turn it off and go site-wide. What? ABG. And it's still going to be that way because the code's in the site-wide too. Or the activation is still in the site-wide. So it's still going to be in the site-wide too. But we could also then pull the shortcode out and it wouldn't do it either. So now you have both the shortcode and the site-wide doing it together, twice in one page, in fact. But there it is. Okay, so quick recap here. What do we do? Well, we edited a few pieces of our page in order to update our shortcode. Remember that we already set this stuff in the general class. So like when you're just in the includes and you have the general starting class for the whole plugin right here, and we set up all of our public hooks and everything, we added a shortcode called tag mixer adder, and it was calling to the public class, and it was calling to the tag mix shorty as its short, or as it where it's getting its shortcode from. And if you look in the public class again and you look down there, that is called tag mix shorty. So this is where it's calling to get it. And then we created an option in the database on that first form here that is either site-wide or shortcode, and we saved it. And so now anywhere else in the plugin, we can call that option and say, is it set to a shortcode or is it set to all? And we can say, okay, we want you to do this or we don't want you to do this. Right? Right. Okay, now there's going to be one more thing we're going to have to add here in the overall, which is if the plugin is actually turned on or off. It is saving in the database, but I'm not actually running the check. It's just going to be one more if statement wrapped around this whole thing to say if the plugin is even turned on, do all this stuff, which will be another one. This is just kind of showing you guys how to turn on and off things globally using built-in settings in your plugin. You can do all kinds of stuff this way. Anyway, hey, I missed you guys. 99 days. 99 days. 99 days. I can't not believe 99 days. But anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed that one. Sorry that it ran 22 minutes. But hey, it was actually pretty simple to do. And now that's going to give us a lot more flexibility on how we can use this thing. So say we have a page that's like we want in our site. Every other page stays the same, but we have one page that's the advertising page. And it changes based on like if people come from Google or Facebook or whatever. Then we can do that page and use this code and just put out the short code on that page. And like even add it to the footer on that particular page or something. And then forget all the rest of the site. Or say your whole site is your advertising page and you just want to do it site-wide on all your pages, just go ahead and hit the site-wide option, and that's going to make that. So this is going to be a really useful plugin for marketing for sure, but a lot of other stuff too. Anyway, I'll try to keep it as short as possible next time. Let's take a quick look at what next time is going to be, because we get to check another item off our list, and we get to give ourselves a gold star, and that feels pretty good. So let's take a look one more time and figure out exactly what's going to happen next time, because I want to keep plowing through these, and I think the items are going to get easier and easier, well, except for this one. All right, so let's go ahead and give ourselves a check mark and pat on the back. Congratulations. And so on the next one, we're going to add a couple more JavaScript written options like image change, font size. We already did font size. Text change. We're going to be able to search and replace certain words in the page. That's going to be very effective. And then a bunch of other options that are in the stuff. And also, we need to do a little bit of fixing on the saving option. I'll show you why. It kind of glitches. It needs a little bit of modification on that as well. And then we'll actually start creating some media selector to even change images on the fly. Then we'll start creating an advertising page so we can actually test it. Create documentation with videos on how to use it. I actually want to do all this so you guys can see like full plugin like development on how you do it, and then submit it to the WordPress repository and all that. So, okay, well, you know what? Hey, once again, if you ain't subscribed, just subscribe, will you? It's free. It doesn't cost you nothing, and it makes me smile. So that's great. And hopefully it makes you smile too. So other than that, I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one, where we're going to go ahead and work on some more JavaScript options for this plugin. I'll see you then.